Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection. Today, well actually, before I tell you this, I just want to announce that at the beginning of this, these videos I make, these episodes, these little YouTube short films, if you will, are just off the cuff. They're live. Almost 99.9% of the time, I do not edit stuff out. I try to just turn the camera on and try to talk about the subject. And so if I frequently have brain farts, I frequently flub words and stuff like that. So, and occasionally you will hear dogs bark, possibly, and children playing their video games in their rooms, and they get really loud. So just off the cuff, I just wanted to make that public service announcement for my channel before we start this episode. Now, on with the show. And today's spotlight, I'm going to spotlight the director, Danny Boyle. Now, Danny Boyle might not ring a bell right off, and he didn't for me either when I first really got dug into Danny Boyle's career. I was familiar with at least a handful of his films, but it was one day I was rewatching 28 Days Later. It was just a great movie. I got like sucked into the story. I had seen it a couple times, but I don't know, I got really into it. I watched it, which made me want to pick up the Blu-ray of it, which had 28 Weeks Later, which is basically the follow-up, but it's not made by Danny Boyle. So I was kind of just into that movie zone, you know, which is something we were almost kind of like we're living in now, but this was a couple years ago. And from there, I just started doing some research and some stuff like that, and slowly over a couple months, I had pretty much all of his work. I mean, I got all these movies really cheap. I mean, I didn't pay. I think the one that cost the most out of these was probably one of the Criterions in here that I got, and that's about it. So, I mean, really, his work is easy to get to. There was one of them that was kind of hard to find for me. But let's get right into it. So, he's most well known for a few movies. Let me throw a curveball and just put this one out here. Now, this came out a few years ago. I want to say, 2008, 2007. Something like that. He came out with a movie kind of loosely based on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but it takes place in India, and this call center guy gets on the show, and I just really don't want to give away any of the storyline, because I really want you to check it out. If you don't know anything about it, I really do recommend it. Believe me, you'll get into this movie. It's called Slumdog Millionaire. And I believe it won Best Picture, or it was definitely nominated. It was just kind of like out of nowhere. This movie was a big hit. It kind of threw Danny Boyle back into the spotlight again. I mean, you know, he had he's always been an interesting director, and he's always gotten great movies out there and put out, and great scripts and stuff. But for some reason, he was just kind of amplified for a minute. And everything. So Slumdog Millionaire, I recommend that. Okay, guys, so the movie that he's probably most famous for, which I hate being like that, it's cliche and everything, but Trainspotting. He burst onto the scene with this big hit, Trainspotting. It's not his first film, but once he did Trainspotting, the doors were wide open for him. It was like he could do anything. He was the newest Quentin Tarantino of the 90s. Kind of put Europe in the spotlight, the UK. international hit, Trainspotting, big indie hit. I remember it at the time. We had one indie theater in Louisville, Kentucky, that I went to and checked it out. The Vogue Theater. Unfortunately, it's not there anymore. They had that, and great movie. I don't have to really tell you that it's a great movie. You know it is. But also, what's really cool is I have this on the Criterion Collection Laserdisc, which is really cool. Trainspotting on Laserdisc. Criterion Collection. It's really pretty cool. I think it's a gatefold, and it's got just all of this stuff in here, man. It's just got oh man, something fell out. But yeah, it's just got all kinds of artwork and little things tied to the movie that just fans will really love. But yeah, Trainspotting. Sorry, my allergies are kind of rough. I'm kind of rough today. I think pulling out some stuff got some dust stirred up. Anyways, so I think this was his first movie. This was probably the one I spent the most money on in getting all of his works, because I ended up having to buy it brand new and everything. This came out, I believe, 2012. I'm talking about 1994's Shallow Grave. Now this was the big movie that busted him out of, this put him on the map. Great, dark, comedy, almost horror type movie at times. It's got a younger Ian McGregor, Christopher Eccleston, and Carrie Fox are in this, and it's a really cool movie if you haven't seen it. And gosh, a lot of his movies, it's like I don't want to give details out about these movies because they're so intricate, especially like this, Shallow Grave, Slumdog Millionaire. I don't want to give away a lot of stuff, but man, Shallow Grave, highly recommend that. Next up was a cool movie. I got a surround sound system. I got this on Blu-ray, and this was a movie, and I was thinking a sci-fi movie, and I was thinking at the time it's like a sci-fi movie. Danny Boyle. It's like in space and everything, and the movie I'm talking about is Sunshine. I remember this when it came out. I would see it at the rental store, and I've seen it in the on the shelves with other new releases and stuff, and for some reason I just didn't pick it up. I just thought it was maybe a handful of copycat sci-fi movies that were kind of generated in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, where there was a bunch of oddball ones, and I guess it just didn't catch my eye. But man, this was a great movie, a great movie. Has really good sound on it. I blasted the thing with 5.1 surround sound, just great picture. The effects in the movie, really good. Basically, Sunshine, I'll give you some information on it. It takes place in the year 2057. The sun is dying and mankind faces extinction. Earth's last hope rests with a courageous crew of 8 men and a woman on a mission to ignite a fading star with a massive nuclear weapon. So what they're going to do is they're going to light up this star with a nuclear weapon to kind of jumpstart, the sun, because Earth, the sun's fading out, where everyone's dying, food, everything you can imagine if we didn't have the sun. So it's a super good movie. Highly recommend this for anybody like sci-fi, even barely like sci-fi. I think little fans and big fans will love this movie, so check it out, Sunshine. Next up is a movie that was pretty good. I didn't honestly tell you that I didn't see it coming, what happened in this movie. I really didn't see what was going on. But this is a cool movie. It's got James McAvoy, Vincent Cassel, and Rosario Dawson, and it's called Trance. And again, another movie that came out, and I didn't pick it up. I didn't check it out because, I knew who Danny Boyle was, but I just wasn't following his career. I knew some good movies he was in, or movies he directed and stuff. But it's just great. Vincent Cassel he has this look about him. He's a French actor. He was in what was that Black Swan movie? It's really crazy. Let me tell you about this one too. It's like a exhilarating brain twister. That's what the New York Post said about it. It's like when a fine art auctioneer, played by McAvoy, undergoes hypnosis to remember the location of a $27 million painting that he stole, the line between reality and illusion becomes blurred in this fast-paced, unpredictable, sexy, and suspenseful movie. Trance. Check it out. It's kind of a low-key, great movie. A few years ago, seemed like, when did this come out? It seemed like it wasn't that long ago. 2017, Danny Boyle follows up his big hit Trainspotting with T2 Trainspotting, the sequel to his, the big hit, the big story. It kind of follows the guys later on, 20 years later in their lives, grown up with families, and they've moved on. They have proper jobs now, and they're trying to get along. A couple guys in prison, a couple guys still doing the exact same thing they did 20 years ago, only older. And it's got a lot of heartfelt stuff in it. There's some of the characters that are just really good in it. Sick Boy, let me see. No, Spud, Aaron Bremner. I thought he was really good in this. I think he had a really, I don't know, his performance was really good. It's a great movie. I mean, I think it plays well besides the original. It's kind of hard to top Trainspotting, but as a sequel, it's a really cool kind of flip side to see them grown up and everything, and the struggles that they have as adults. Next up is pretty cool movie. This is kind of a biopic about Steve Jobs, and let's see who's all in this. Michael Fassbender, Kate Winslet, Seth Rogen, Jeff Daniels. Good movie, just a good movie. I mean, as far as biopics go, sometimes timelines get mixed up. Sometimes they leave out stuff. Sometimes they make other people look bad while making bad people look good, and all mixed up. But I think it plays it well. I mean, I'm not an expert on Steve Jobs' life and everything, but I think it does well as a movie. I mean, I almost forget watching it that it's about Steve Jobs and that these are just characters unfolding in a drama and stuff. And it's like it's kind of like he took some of the gloss of a biopic off, because a lot of biopics, every 5 minutes it's kind of like, this is about somebody. Look, it's him doing a famous thing, or she doing a famous thing. Look when she did this. This was kind of unfolded, and it almost was its own movie, like, loosely based on Steve Jobs. But he did a really good job at this, I believe. So, really good movie to check it out. Steve Jobs. Now, another movie I saw this back in the day and thought it was really good. This is based on a true story. James Franco is really good in this movie. He's really good. 127 Hours. This was a pretty exceptional movie when it came out. Pretty big. I remember seeing it. Really, really sad. Really makes you think, what would you do in that situation? And, the guy has to cut his own arm off. I mean, I've had two elbow replacements in my life, my left arm. So I can only imagine having to cut my limb off to escape. I mean, it's just horrible. But man, it's such a triumphant movie of hope and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's great. Chicago Sun-Times gave it 4 stars at the time. So there you go. Get that. Oh yeah, I have 2 copies of this. 28 Days Later, the movie that kind of rekindled my interest in Danny Boyle. I mean, this is a great movie. I mean, it's kind of a nightmare scenario that we can almost like we're living in now, but just not as nightmarish as this is. But this is kind of a groundbreaking movie at the time. It's basically a zombie horror movie that's, it's a deadly virus is released called Rage, and it transforms the world around people into like seemingly desolate, wastelands, and it's basically about a handful of determined survivors attempting to salvage a future, but unaware about the worst that's yet to come. It's one of those things where it's just it's like you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. It's such a good movie, well played. Man, the one actor that's in this that's been in a few movies, he's really good. Cillian Murphy, I believe his name is. Cillian. He was in The Dark Knight Returns. He played, I think, Sandman or Scarecrow. Yeah, he played Scarecrow. But he's been in some cool movies, and man, he's a very interesting actor. But he kind of plays a good guy in that movie. Now here's a movie that I believe this was made hot on the success of Trainspotting. This was the big 20th Century Fox studio movie Hollywood called, and Leonardo DiCaprio was put in this. A movie called The Beach, and I have this is on DVD. I'm not sure if it's on Blu-ray. I think I was looking around for it, and the Blu-ray is really kind of expensive, or I'm not really sure why I only have a DVD of it. But man, this is a good movie. I mean, I remember at the time it was panned a little bit, and there's like a group of people that hate it, and there's like a group of fans that love it. It was like almost like a cult film in a way, I've heard. So I've heard different stuff about this, but I thought it was really good. A great movie to rewatch every so often. So, The Beach. And here's another movie done around that time, in the 90s. Oh man, when did this come out? 99? Some of these movies I just can't believe are this old. Not old. It just makes you feel old because this came out in 99, which means it's, what, 20, I can't even do math, like 22 years old or something like that. A Life Less Ordinary. And it's got Ian McGregor returns to work with Danny on this one. It's got Cameron Diaz, she was just hot as fire at this time. She was in all kinds of movies. She was at her height of her success. This is a movie I've only seen it once. I watched it once when I had this. I need to rewatch it. I just kind of forget about it sometimes. But it's spoiled rich young woman whose worst nightmare is having her credit card rejected. So this guy Robert is he's a hapless janitor whose greatest dream is to write the great American trash novel. They have nothing in common except burning desire to live a life less ordinary. And when Celine is kidnapped by the inept Robert, the pair of celestial cops are dispatched to Earth to make sure they live that life less ordinary together. So it's an interesting movie. Holly Hunter, Delroy Lindo, and Ian Holm is in this. Ian Holm's always good. So yeah, this is a movie I haven't seen much. I honestly can't say I remember much about it. I got this. This is an old DVD, man. I can't. I need to rewatch this. But yeah, I mean, I know it was really popular. I just didn't see it until the early 2000s there. This is a DVD that has 28 Days Later, but it has the follow-up 28 Weeks Later, which it's not Danny Boyle's, but I have this in the collection for that. So I wanted to get 28 Days Later, and I had that edition for a while, and then I upgraded to the Blu-ray. And finally, guys, this was a movie that was kind of hard to find for some reason. And copies I could find of it was expensive when I went looking for his movies. So this is a former rental movie from Hollywood Video. It's got the tags on here and stuff. I kind of love these because I loved Hollywood Video back in the day. And when they would have their sales, clearance sales, they would sell stuff, and they would have the stickers and the, everything on it. It's kind of neat. But yeah, it's just a DVD. It's a movie called Millions. This is a story about these two little boys. I think they're brothers. One day they're playing out in the field, and all of a sudden a suitcase comes flying down on the ground. I think it hits one of them maybe, and it's full of money. So they have this money and they start trying to spend it, and one's trying to save it and do right with it while not trying to get caught, and the other brother is flashing the money and doing everything wrong. So finally they get, their names in the newspaper for finding this money, and then it's connected with the mafia or something, and they track them down. But yeah, it's a great family movie. It's kind of a heartwarming movie. It could even be a movie to watch during the holidays, like Christmas and stuff. The little boys, I'm trying to think of their names here. Is it James Nesbitt? What is the little boy's name? They don't say what they are, but I just can't remember their names. But yeah, it's a cute, warm, heartwarming movie. It's called Millions. If you haven't seen it, track it down. It's definitely a good movie. It's a great movie to watch. I'm going to try to watch this now during the holidays. It's just one of those nice movies, a really sweet movie, and well made. So there you go, guys. I believe that's most of Danny Boyle's work. I may be missing a couple of things. I haven't checked lately with the pandemic going on and on. You don't really see very many movie advertisements, it seems. Maybe I need to research and see if he's done anything since then. I think he may have. I haven't got the movie yet. But yeah, that's a good stack of movies I got there. I believe there's 13 or so, 14 if you include the Laserdisc. So yeah, Danny Boyle. That's a perfect example of kind of what my videos are about. It's kind of like you watch a movie and you like it, and you're like, oh, I love that movie. And then you realize, oh, it's made by Danny Boyle. That's interesting. And then you see another movie and you love it. And you're like, man, that's a great movie. It's made by Danny Boyle. So you got these two movies. You're starting to remember his name. And then another movie comes along, Danny Boyle. And you're like, dang, I'm gonna watch some more Danny Boyle movies. You know what I mean? And it kind of like a tree limb. It just grows out. You're getting one after another. And it's just kind of grows, and you search them out, and you find each one of them. You kind of go on a journey of discovery, and you watch each movie as the ups, downs, and everything of movie making in a director's life. So it's really interesting. Some of the actors and actresses that he uses again and again in certain, some of the movies, like Ian McGregor and stuff. It's kind of cool to see old faces again and new faces in his movies. He's a really good director. He's probably one of my top 10 new directors currently out making movies still. You know, not the classic directors and everything, but he's a current working director and one of my favorites. So Danny Boyle, I have went on long enough about Danny Boyle. Now go out there, find one of his movies and watch it and everything. So, and then comment. Let me know what you thought about some of this or what you already know about Danny Boyle. Whew, I need a drink of water after all that. Give me a thumbs up if you like this episode, and comment, of course, and subscribe. Subscribe to my movie channel, my YouTube channel. And I have a lot of videos. Got a bunch of them that I've made over the last year or so. So I would really love it if you check out my channel, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And I do thank everyone for tuning in and watching these, and everybody that, you know, subscribes. And I'm really, really humble and thank you for watching these things. I'm not a teacher by any means, but I feel like I'm passing on my knowledge and love of movies and stuff to people. So I just want to share the good feelings I have and warmth and good vibes and stuff. So until next time, guys, I am Mike, and I am silly about movies. I am a kook about movies, and you know this already. So I will see you later. Be safe out there. Watch good movies, and I'll see you later.